it was broken today. News broke today that WrestleMania will not partake in WrestleMania will not be in New Orleans this year in
Next year.
2026. Tomato potato.
Yeah.
It will not be in New Orleans in 2026. The new location is technically an old one. They are going back to Las Vegas, is
Allegedly.
what everyone is saying. Allegedly. We have to say allegedly right now.
Well, because it's just a rumor. They're not confirmed yet.
Nothing has been confirmed yet, but a lot of the attention or a lot of speculation is that it will be in Las Vegas again. Listen, I don't want it. I think that's ridiculous. Other than my personal feelings about it, that's just personal feelings. But I miss, or I like, not miss. I like that the fact that WrestleMania is in a new city or new state or country, because Toronto or potentially London, every year. That's the lore of it. And by just having it back in Vegas again after the outrage that took place over ticket prices and prices for everything, wild move by the company.
See, like I'm not mad about it, and it's not just because, if I go, it's a lot cheaper than if it were somewhere else. It's like, yeah, that's a huge plus, but like I think that everything was like pretty accessible because you were not like you were within 10 minutes you were at an arena or at the superstore, like no matter where you were staying. So It feels like it's such a prime location for people that are coming in to go to WrestleMania because you're on the strip and then you're within walking distance of one of the arenas. So it's like, okay, cool. Like that is really nice. When we were in Philly, we literally had to take the train to get anywhere and then you had to walk a mile or whatever. So that wasn't easy. So I do like that aspect. I'm assuming that if it does end up being in Vegas, it's because whatever happened with New Orleans, forcing them to have to go and like find somewhere last minute, and because obviously TKO has such ties to Vegas that it's the easiest thing for them to be like, okay, well, we can't really go and find Orlando or maybe Minnesota will want it. Like you can't go and force that.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas is going to be like, yeah, you just brought in a ton of money for the city. UFC is like a staple in Vegas. It makes sense, and they don't have to do a whole lot to accommodate them. So that's the only reason why I would think that if they return to Vegas, that is what makes sense. But that's all. I mean, I'm not mad about it just because like it's Vegas. Like at least it's a better place than Philly. It's like it's a more of a vacation place. It's a warmer place. Like it's a little bit more fun for people to go to if they have to. I It's hard for me to imagine like as great as London would be if this feels like short notice for them to like come to that conclusion. Like if London wasn't the thing this year, before they committed to New Orleans, it feels like that's not going to happen next year either. That feels like it's going to be like further down the road. I don't know, but when we were talking about this before we started recording, they do have to learn from their mistakes of this year, and I'm just not sure that they will. The biggest thing was ticket prices. There's a reason why Mania didn't really sell out as much as they want to convince us that it did. It didn't. Even the SmackDown, NXT, and Raw did not sell out. It was NXT definitely didn't, and I believe SmackDown might have. Raw was sold out. You could tell, but like the tickets were ridiculous, and it just that is going to deter people. So if you're not going to fix that a year later, then Mania turnout is going to be even worse than it was this year. So if they're going to do that, then they have to change that. Otherwise, it's just going to be a giant problem. And I don't have any confidence in them doing that, which is disappointing.
Yeah, I don't really. If you're going to do an international tour, it has to be announced at least a year in advance to me.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's going to take time for them to like come to a deal. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is like, this would have had to have been something that New Orleans fell apart like 2 months ago or something, and they like just we didn't find out until now. And so they've already been talking to people, you know, the people over in London to get it set up. I mean, it's like it's millions of dollars, and then they have to figure out, okay, where are we going to have Mania? Where is Raw, NXT, and SmackDown going to be? And where is the Superstore going to be? And where is WWE World going to be? Like, it's not easy for them to figure that out. So it's hard for me to imagine that they're going to be like, yeah, we can go do that in London, when they're like way more unfamiliar with their setup than anywhere here. When again, in Vegas, they know exactly where everything will be and they know how it will run because of how it ran this year.
Correct. Yeah. And not to mention, or let's not forget that WWE gets a little bit of a kickback from the host city or state, whatever. They got at least $7 million this year for WrestleMania. So,
well, and then obviously TKO is going to push Vegas too, because
UFC,
theirs. So
MMA,
yeah,
all that. Yeah, you know, it's nonsense to me, but you know, we'll have to just wait and see, because wow, that was some wild news to read on Twitter as I was, you know, driving through this nor'easter.
My boss asked me to write an article about it for Daily DDT, because it's like,
Oh, you should have.
I did. This was another example of The Rock being so pointless, because like he showed up on that random SmackDown to announce the you know, Mania was going to be in New Orleans, and then it was like, oh, I want your soul, Cody, and it was like, what the fuck? Like all of this, it was just like, it was so even more pointless now. Like, because he didn't show up at Mania, we were already mad about it, but now it's like that entire night now was like a complete waste of time, because now they're not even gonna be in
exactly
New Orleans for Mania. So
hilarious though. Like The Rock is having a horrible 2025 in the WWE universe. I'll say that.
They're turning on him, and that's the thing is like,
even I'm like, he's still my guy, but like, dude, I'm like over it. You know, like I'm just
The
like,
Rock is your guy, like in the way that you think about him, like as a nostalgia thing. Like the current Rock is not your guy. You know, like 50-year-old Rock is not.
The Final Boss. No, not even, because I love the Final Boss. That's the thing. Like, this is worse than like The Rock right now.
Up till WrestleMania 40, The Rock was your guy.
Nah, even after WrestleMania 40 though, the event, because I'm accounting.
He just randomly showed up though, and like had no. And that's the thing is, everything that he did after Mania though had made no sense, and he had no plan for it. So when he showed up and was like doing the 3, 2, 1, like he
stupid.
literally just did that for no fucking reason.
Makes no sense. No, I'm saying I love the Final Boss WrestleMania 4 because it gave us what it gave us, and what, you know, all that. So, you know, like that. But now it's, you know, it feels like he is that dude who just wants to be in the cool thing.
He wants to take advantage of how it's booming right now.
Exactly. And he's actually doing well in Hollywood with the last movie he just shot with A24 about the UFC fighter, the first ever UFC fighter.
No, I know. And then he just signed on to another one, and I was like, can you stay away from WWE then?
No, but like,
can you just
great job
doing movies? Go do that. They don't need you.
I saw the trailer for the movie about the UFC fighter, and like, he's really good. And it's Emily Blunt's in the cast too. Like,
we'll see what the reviews say, because most of his movies are not.
A24 does a good job though. That production
that doesn't help his acting though.
It helps the movie. Let's put it that way.